Welcome to a video about text-to-speech. This is a strategy for teaching students with disabilities. So what is text-to-speech? Text-to-speech is a tool that converts written material into verbal material. The intent is to simulate someone reading out loud like you would do in a classroom. And text-to-speech supports students in reading. I think everyone knows this. When you read a text out loud to your class, you are supporting them in reading. So, who may benefit from text-to-speech? There are a few groups of students who really benefit from this feature, especially with online learning. Students with vision impairments, such as blindness or semi-blindness, or even just kids with glasses who have lost or broken their glasses. I'm sure all of you have students like that. Students with learning disabilities like dyslexia or even other learning disabilities will benefit from text-to-speech. Students with developing receptive language skills and students with other health impairments that may affect their reading skills. So this is a very broad group of students. Obviously, a lot of students fall into one of these four categories, or even 2, 3, 4 of these categories. But this just means that text-to-speech is a versatile tool to use in your class. Text-to-speech resources. In this video, I'm going to go over 4 text-to-speech resources plus a bonus resource if you don't like any of the ones that we go over. So first we're going to go over some Google extensions that kids can put onto their computers. Then we are going to cover Newsela or Newsela, Microsoft Edge, and then lastly Actively Learn, plus that bonus website that I mentioned before. So let's just jump into the first resource, which is some Google extensions. Let's start with a Google Chrome extension called Read and Write for Google Chrome. If your students have Google Chromebooks, this is an easy extension to add on. You might need administrative permissions, but that is an easy fix for whoever does the tech at your school. So Read and Write for Google Chrome, if you haven't already added it to your computer, it'll say add to Chrome right here, and then it'll go into your extensions bar. And if it's not, I see it's already pulled up on my extensions bar, but if it isn't, you can go over here and pin it to the bar like this and move it around if you would like. So how does this perform? Let's see. So I have this Newsela or Newsela article pulled up. So let's see how Read and Write does with this article. We can click on the Google extension up here and a bar will appear.
Dream jobs, avionics engineer, present, save, read aloud, share, hide, print, add to text set, a person standing in a garden. Image 1, Rochelle.
And the cool thing about Read and Write is that it describes the pictures on some of the websites, so that's definitely an added benefit. To X out, you can just close the little bar up here. I will make a note that Read and Write for Google Chrome doesn't do great with PDFs. I've tried it a few times and I can't quite get it to work, but you can always try for yourself if that's something you really need. Let's move on to the next Chrome extension. It's called Read Aloud, a text-to-speech voice reader. I already have this installed, but you can install it just like you can install Read and Write. So let's try this one on this Newsela article. So unlike Read and Write, this extension pulls the article and puts it into this separate window so that it can read from there. So let's hear it.
Dream jobs, avionics engineer. Image 1. Rochelle Pereira is an avionics engineer at Boeing Company. She develops.
And you can make the font bigger on this. You can also make the window smaller or bigger. And after you're done, you can press stop and click out of it and it'll be done. The Read Aloud Google extension actually does work on PDFs, so let's hear it with that format.
This article is available at 5 reading levels at this URL. High schooler invents tool to detect wound infection. Image 1.
So hopefully you have a good idea about those two extensions. To find them, you can always search the Chrome Web Store, or you can just Google both of them. Just make sure that they are from the same company as listed here, texthelp.com and lsdsoftware.com. So let's jump into News ELA or News Ella. I have this reading right here, this article, and if I want to assign it, let's say my students have a News Ella or News ELA account, I can assign it to them over here, add instructions, and assign. Now it shows up as being assigned, and on their accounts it's going to look something like this. So after they log in, they would go to assignments and then look at this new reading that I just posted. Then, as I'm sure you've noticed, there is a read aloud button on this article. It's right here, so let's hear it.
Dream Jobs, Avionics Engineer. By Haley Roman, adapted by Newsela staff. Published October 17, 2018. Rochelle Pereira is a design engineer at the Boeing Company in Seattle, Washington.
You can also rewind this recording. But if you noticed, I'm actually on Microsoft Edge right now, which most people don't have on their computers, especially if you have Apple. But if you do, they actually offer a text-to-speech option right from the browser. So if you go into the top right-hand three dots and go down to Read Aloud.
Science and Math. Dream Jobs, Avionics Engineer. Save.
We can hear a different speaker up here.
Read aloud. Share. Print. Image 1. Rochelle Pereira is an avionics engineer at Boeing Company.
And of course, you have many other options. There's also an option besides News Ella and News ELA. You can assign a reading to actively learn, and students will have an opportunity for text-to-speech on that platform. They will see the reading here and just go to this play button.
How scientific modules help us understand the world if you ever try seeing DNA under a microscope.
They also have several voice options, and you can read slower or faster or rewind. There's also an option for websites that do speech to text. This website is called naturalreaders.com/online, and you can take it any text you want. You can copy and paste, add a file from your computer, and it'll paste into this window. Change the font, make the text bigger or smaller, or even change the speaker. There are two on the free version, and you can of course change the speed as well. This is a super simple website if you want your kids to be able to copy and paste things whenever they need to, regardless of what format it is in that might confuse other text-to-speech applications, extensions, etc. Hopefully you found this video helpful and were able to gather some resources for text-to-speech accommodations in order to help as many students as you can during this very strange time of online learning. I will see you again in another video.